Moving on to the fourth KPI, which I call is a supplier management KPI, right? Traditional mindsets, you will talk about how much delivery time compliance there is. Is it delivered on time? Is it delivered on full? I don't want to demean this KPI, but this is largely what supplier relationship management has been restricted to. If you want to follow that, establish supplier management KPI in 2025 as well. But if you want to, let's say, take it a bit step up, let's say you want to innovate in this KPI, what I really want is you to identify two classes in supplier management. Don't get me wrong, the delivery time and the quality performance stays, and for me it's more like you don't really have to set a KPI for it because it's now bare minimum. Why should I work with a supplier that is consistently delaying my deliveries? So if you can't meet my delivery timelines and if you can't provide me with a quality product, don't work with me, right? And that's a very different approach from a KPI. That's the bare minimum standard. I don't want to work with suppliers who are below, let's say, 80% of this KPI. Why should I spend my time managing corrective action reports for the suppliers who are consistently non-performing, right? So we set the bare minimum benchmark, and then that's for the basic team. It's for the top 1% team. For the supplier management, I want to have only two metrics. One, how many cost innovation projects am I running with this supplier, right? And the cost innovation projects can be whether any cost models that you have changed. You might be following, for example, in any raw material based industry, you will always follow index based costing formulas, right? For example, you can take LME index, and then using the price of copper, you can add some yield factors and some other costs to arrive at the final price. That's normally how most of the raw materials procurement is done. Now, as a cost innovation project, have you worked out a plan with any one or two of your strategic suppliers to take a relook at, can I change this index based formula to some other index? Maybe I want to improve on the yield because of the productivity. Can I do something in my production line so that my yield factor improves, hence the overall cost of the product comes down? For the capex based industries, it could be should cost modeling, where you take the product apart, you take out the features that you really are not using or it's not used by your consumers, and that's the insight you get from your sales team. And then you strip out all the non-required features, basically to work out a lighter version of your product with the reduced cost. It's not possible for you to do these kind of projects in isolation. That's why you need 1, 2, 3, 4 strategic suppliers to work on these long-term projects so that you can improve quality of your costing, of your product, etc. This is what I call as supply innovation. One heads up though, it's a bit different from just pushing the new products, right? I've seen so many interactions getting failed at this. A supplier who's really not interested in, or maybe our account manager, right? Because it's the account manager at your supplier side who really decides what kind of service you will be getting. So if your supplier account manager pushes the launches of the new products and use this supplier innovation as just another sales opportunity, you need to stop that immediately. I'm talking about engagement at a strategic level. You may have to invest into setting up a tear down asset lab. You may have to co-invest with your suppliers to find a third party who can specialize in these services. But again, it's a long-term commitment of making sure you are working on some big strategic cost innovation projects. That's one. The second part is, we will cover it in the risk management, but let me say it out anyway. For the non-performing suppliers, you will always want to have a metric. And for me, it will be percentage of the contracts that are at risk. Now, and I use this very casually. I define risk as bad performance, like I mentioned. I define risk as concentration. I define risk as single source dependency, etc., etc. Right? So how much of your contracts are really at the risk is how I monitor. But you understand the supplier management aspect. Let's move beyond OTIF, on time in full concepts, to something what I called as innovation and percentage contracts under risk. So that was the supplier management KPI.